Dear Albania, I'm Eliza Dushku, an Albanian Danish-American from Boston. I've always been curious about you and fascinated by your mystery. My grandparents immigrated to America by boat in the 1930s. I never knew these grandparents. They passed away before I was born. I never had strong feelings of attachment to you until now. Growing up, I wasn't the only one who didn't know very much about this once secluded country. Before its communist government fell in 1991, Albania was arguably the most isolated country in Europe. Now, the borders are open and the people are eager to welcome those who for so long were strangers. Though only an hour by plane from Italy and Greece, much of Albania remains virtually untouched by the masses. From the sapphire beaches of the Ionian coast and the ancient settlements of Apollonia, Berat, and Butrint, to the energetic capital city Tirana, Albania offers a lot for the curious traveler. Off the grid, the Albanian Alps preserve the fiercely independent spirit of the mountains. It's a place with controversial stories of vigilante justice, but also where villagers warmly invite travelers into their homes. It's a visit from a man named Fadil Berisha that inspires my Albanian pilgrimage. Fadil is not only a successful photographer, he is also the ultimate Albanian ambassador, uniting artists, singers, and talents throughout the world who share Albanian heritage, urging us to discover our roots. Fadil told me the land of my grandparents was calling for me, and also that Albanians considered me something of a hometown hero, along with the likes of Jim Belushi and Mother Teresa. It was time for me to dig deeper into my past. So I gathered my boys, including my brother Nate.
It doesn't get better than this, I'm serious.
And my friends, Rick. Yeah, say it with a little flair. Përshëndetje. Little European, nice. Laram. What does that mean?
I love Albania.
And Fadil. And we set out to canvass the country from the coastlines to the highlands, to meet the people and to explore this jewel of the Balkans. We're visiting 15 Albanian cities in 4 different countries. First stop, Tirana, the capital of Albania, home to Skanderbeg Square, the city's main plaza named after the 15th century lord Skanderbeg. Since 1991, Tirana has been in transformation. When we arrive, Skanderbeg Square is under construction, and Mayor Lulzim Basha shows me around the municipal buildings.
They said this is a boulevard without a city, but it became a city with a beautiful boulevard. So it's a lesson from 80 years ago, from 90 years ago, and a lesson we should incorporate in planning and building Tirana of the 21st century. So this is the clock tower, the symbol of the city. It was recently restored, and Suleiman led the work for restoration.
Nice to meet you. The clock tower of Tirana was built in the first years of 19th century, 1820.
I brushed up on my Albanian history, starting with our ancestors, the Illyrians.
Albanians are a very ancient people. More than 3,000 years ago, we have the first traces of Illyrian civilization, pre-Roman civilization, which developed side to side with the Hellenic civilization.
You know, we're surrounded by Italy and Greece, and everybody knows these places. Why has Albania had such a history of not being recognized by the rest of the world?
It's true. Albania and Albanians have been at the center of European history from the very beginning. But as history developed, the nation remained an orphan nation, entangled in the big game of powers and empires that came and went.
Yeah.
Rome, and Constantinople, Byzantium. Later the Ottoman Empire. And Albanians gave so much to these civilizations and also took from them. The big empires who were responsible for shading Albania away from the eyes of the rest of the world.
I mean, you said earlier, Albania has been an orphan country.
Indeed, years and centuries of isolation has left a mark on our history, but it never harmed Albanians' unique hospitality. Hospitality is the quintessential virtue of Albanians.
Sold. My grandfather, on the eve of the First World War, found his way to Boston. Over the years, he kept in touch with his family in Albania through letters, and my father and uncles held on to the addresses of these relatives after he passed away. In 1991, when the borders of Albania were opened to travelers for the first time in 45 years, our father went to visit.
It was a moving experience, both gratifying and shocking at the same time. In Tirana, I got to meet for the first time my loving uncle, Eliza Dushku, and his wonderful family. I'll never forget the look of surprise and joy when they answered my knock on their door. Even though I had written to them months earlier, they had not received my letter and were not expecting me. Looking at Eliza standing at the open door in a t-shirt and pajama bottoms was as if I had aroused my own father. The resemblances were remarkable, and I was much taken by surprise.
Anesti passed away the next year, and we lost touch. Hopefully, his daughter Elvira and her family still live in Tirana. All we have are 2 old addresses and a disconnected telephone number. So our friend, a guest, a local, helps us track them down.
Our first attempt, we came to the blind road, number 101, but the numbers have changed. Some of them are marked on the wall, but those were the old numbers, and now there are new numbers. And we rang a bell, and a little old lady said that she didn't recognize the name and they weren't here.
Her father worked with Elvira's husband. They used to work together for a long time. Can you just wait for a second, yeah, she knows for sure what it is.
We have a lead.
The house that they live now is all buildings.
Këtë ka shpit, po ka shpit tjetër, po edhe fillon ka pallona, pallar të tjetër.
Pallona bazar të jetë. Ka shumë kush?
O, Flori, kërkoj një qumë.
Unë jam agent propellaj, kam marrë përbashkë me Eliza Dushkun, që juve keni një lidhje të gjatë familjare. Pra, s'brej do të poshtë, kërkoni familjen tuaj, kërkoni fillotën edhe Elvirën. Po që gjeta juve, a mund të zbrisni poshtë, jemi poshtë dhe kërpitur. Hajde.
We find our second cousin, Florian, Anesti's grandson.
Because I didn't know that it's someone.
He calls his sister Nelly and their mother, Elvira. Elvira shares with us the story of how her father, Anesti, played matchmaker to our grandparents, George and Wilhelmini, from over 4,000 miles away.
The Uncle Nesti now was urging the grandfather to get married. And the idea was not to just get married, but get married to an Albanian girl. To get Albanian wives. This is kind of strange. Someone who had a girl that wanted to be married, they would make a beautiful picture of her and give it to many people.
Wow.
So they would present it.
So you pick a bride.
Yeah, kind of.
So George picked our grandmother.
Could be. I don't know how many photographs were presented to him, but they first met through photographs. I mean,
And she was in Korça.
She was in Korça. She comes from a good family.
So that's when George came back to Albania for Wilhelmini.
She was the most beautiful girl of the house when she was raised.
He liked her very much. And for a short time, they lived in Korça in the same house where Vani and Alexandra and Anesti. Since that time, they didn't come back.
We never knew that our grandparents met via the postal service. They married in their hometown of Korça, moved to the US together in the 1930s, and never returned to Albania again. In need of a coffee, I meet up with Blaram in an area called The Block.
Why Block? Because you see left from you, this building was from leader from Albania in communist time, from Enver Hoxha. Everything was closed in this area from 1945 till 1991. We have new buildings, new bars, and parties. I will show you maybe another time.
So we're going to start out on this road trip, the Albanian road trip.
Yeah.
What do you hope that we experience?
Albania has beautiful places.
I keep hearing so much about how beautiful the beaches are. What's your favorite beach?
I love Durrës, for example. Half an hour. It's very close to Tirana, so you can go in the morning, enjoy the sun. 5 o'clock back to Tirana, have a shower. Let's go
love
and
that.
have
Everybody
fun.
moves fast in today's world.
We succeeded to go beyond the gray, dusty curtain that was practically blinding the people and making them be totally indifferent towards the community and the society.
I head out to go shopping at an Italian department store called Coin, which opened in 2010 and carries brands like Valentino, Guess, and Albanian designer Mirella Nurce. Mirella is kind enough to show me some of her collection.
Will you show me some stuff? Will you maybe help me find a coat today?
Faleminderit ju.
Te dua.
Nate found out that there was a Dushku on the KF Tirana football team. So we crashed their practice.
What's your name? Eliza. I feel a resemblance. Yeah. Oh my gosh, I can't even believe this. I've never met any other Dushkus in the world that weren't my uncles.
He comes in America often, but he hasn't seen you there, he says.
411, information. Call.
He wants to know if you can play with him. Soccer.
Absolutely. And pass.
Soccer has long been a pastime of Albanians, and during the time of communism, soccer players were some of the very few who were permitted to travel outside the country. Even today, as Lorik Sana, captain of the Albanian national team, explained to me, soccer is still a platform for connecting Albanians around the globe.
I think sport like acting or modeling or something to do with art, when you want to represent your country or the nation you come from, it's an amazing ambassador of your country, and it's maybe a small thing for some people, but for Albanians means a lot. It means that they have their own voice and people can listen. And I try, wherever I play, now I play in Lazio in Rome, to give a great image of our country.
Absolutely.
I have some tattoo.
What, you have an eagle?
Yeah.
That's beautiful.
Yeah. And it writes Illyria down here. And Illyria is the name of our ancestor, the Illyrians. I think we deserve to tell people that what we were, what we are, and what we can give to the rest of the world. We are a small nation, but we are proud to be Albanian, and we don't want to be the best, but we just want to find our place.
It's time to hit the road for nearby Kruja. Just like my dad, I love a good bargain, so I stopped by the outdoor bazaar to look for some souvenirs.
Who doesn't love a good tchotchke? These rugs. Oh, she's making the rugs in there. Wow. Sali Barisha.
It's present for you, Mrs.
Thank
It's nice
you.
to meet with you.
I have my own Sali Barisha to drink coffee out of. Faleminderit. Shumë, faleminderit.
Respect and passion.
We head up the hill to Kruja Castle, home of the Skanderbeg Museum dedicated to Albania's revered national hero. In the 1400s, the Ottomans ruled over the Albanian people. Through sheer force of will, Skanderbeg, an Albanian warrior serving in the Ottoman army, secretly organized 300 Albanian soldiers and seized the castle at Kruja. Skanderbeg declared himself the avenger of the Albanians and raised the red flag with the double-headed eagle. He went on to defend his people against the Ottomans for a quarter of a century, creating the first unified Albanian nation. Though after his death, the land would again fall to the Ottomans, Skanderbeg is the ultimate founding father of Albania. It would be 444 years until Albania once again declared its independence as a modern republic in 1912.
As you can see, these are the original walls of the castle. Over there is Tirana, Durrës, and Montenegro.
The Ottomans weren't the only great empire to leave their mark on Albania. The Greeks and Romans also influenced many of the great structures and amphitheaters, as we see here in Apollonia, which thrived in the Roman period as a respected center of philosophy and learning and was named in honor of the sun god Apollo. This is Lule. She lives in the courtyard surrounding Santa Maria Church. According to Fadil, she'll give us a tour if we buy her a steak. Our guide and translator, Ani, gives us a tour of the ancient city.
This is Apollo, the sun god. Here he represents a god that protects the animals and art. See, all the pictures in the frescoes, they don't have their eyes.
Why?
It's superstition. The people from this region believe that if they take the paint from the eyes, put it in water and drink it, it's good for them. They believed the eyes of the saints could help them get over their problem.
Something else.
Yeah, magnificent. Apollonia was quite important, but even Augustus gave a special status to this city. Calling it a free city, they didn't have to pay tax to Rome.
Do a lot of brides come up here?
Yeah, it's a tradition. Something that they can remember for the rest of their lives.
Apparently, Apollonia is the destination for wedding photos.
And how many brides did you see?
This is our 6th.
From the sun god to the heavenly beaches, Albania is a vacationer's paradise. Its mix of hospitality, historical relics, and scenic beauty have earned it the title of Lonely Planet's #1 travel destination. We hit the Albanian Riviera, which stretches from Vlora to Saranda.
We got Italy over there, Greece over there. Here
And
comes
the
the sun.
And then Fadil grabs his camera for an impromptu photo shoot.
Beautiful. That's gorgeous. This side, 1 second, 1 second. Love that. Perfect. Move it, lots of hair, move the hair, yes.